for joining me today on Straight Talk with Tracey. I'm Tracey Masella, and I am joined today by some wonderful people that help us at Silver Hill every day. It is December and the season of giving, so I thought that we would be joined today by some of the wonderful volunteers that help us out in so many ways at the hospital. So thank you for joining us today. I am joined by Lisa Sheehan, Ian Sepos, and Doug Reigeluth. Did I get that right, Doug?
Reigeluth.
Reigeluth, I'm sorry, okay. And these volunteers, as I said, work with our patients in all aspects of the hospital, and I'd like to spend some time hearing about what they do, giving back to the hospital and to the community. So Lisa, let's start with you. How did you get involved with Silver Hill?
I heard that there was a program that they offer mindfulness and meditation, and I jumped at the chance. The reputation of Silver Hill, and I was so excited. It's an innovative program to have mindfulness and meditation as a complement to therapy.
Right. How did you get involved with mindfulness and meditation?
Yoga was my segue, and then my studies have been at UMass Medical School at the Center for Mindfulness.
Wonderful.
Yeah, studying mindfulness-based stress reduction.
Wow, yeah, it's a hot topic. Yeah, wonderful. How about you, Ian?
Interestingly enough, I was in the hunt, shall we say, for probably close to a year and a half. A place that aligned with my values and my intentions, what I was looking to accomplish and give back to the community, which was under the umbrella of recovery. And unfortunately, to my dismay, it's very hard to become a volunteer unless you have credentials. I have a health beverage company and I do commercial real estate. So there was zero involved with recovery or degrees under that umbrella. So it was about a year, maybe a year and a quarter, and I was just about ready to give up because no one would take me on. Got a random email from a volunteer site that I did not register for, looking for recovery, people in recovery to work with the adolescents at Silver Hill. And just like you, I jumped on it, they interviewed me, and here we are.
That's great.
Yep.
How about you, Doug?
So going back close to 3 years ago, I was approaching the end of almost a 40-year career in New York City, and was considering life after working in the city, and I'd been interested because of my own experience in being in recovery myself. I'd been interested in the possibility of getting involved in the business of recovery, hopefully to benefit not only myself but to others as well. And I looked at a couple of facilities, another hospital and another rehabilitation facility, and I learned through a friend of Silver Hill. I'd known of Silver Hill going back a number of years ago. And went on the website, and what really impressed me about Silver Hill was not only the number of volunteers, but the number of opportunities which were available for volunteers. So I lead recovery discussions as well as volunteering in the admissions and evaluation area.
Great. Wonderful. So you all have lives outside of volunteering, which makes you all the more useful to us, right? So that you take time out of your busy lives to join us at Silver Hill. Doug, you mentioned the number of volunteer hours and the number of volunteers, so I'd like to give some information about that. We have active volunteers, 250 active volunteers at the hospital. And we're a small hospital, so that's a large number of people that join us and help us with the care that we give every day. And 25% of our volunteers are former patients. And so it comes out to approximately 130 hours per week that we get from volunteers, which is amazing, and we couldn't do it without you. So if you could, can you tell me specifically what units or what populations that you work with? And also, were you intimidated at all about working at a psychiatric facility? Was there any hesitation of, ooh, what's that going to be like? So where do you work, and was it a little scary at first?
I worked at a psych hospital about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it was an amazing job. I loved it there. So I was not intimidated. I was excited to get back. And I've worked in different units. I've worked with adults, but I've spent more of my time in the teen unit. And I love working with teens.
Yeah. Inpatient or
Yes.
residential? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Teens.
I work on Main 3 with the adolescents, the kids.
Right, that's
And-
our inpatient adolescent unit, yeah.
Yep, was not intimidated in the least. It's a very welcoming hospital, and the atmosphere in which we volunteer is extremely rewarding. So that's my focus.
Yeah.
So the recovery discussions that I lead are typically either in Scavetta, which is the men's house, or in the detox unit in the main house, or campus-wide meetings in the Martin Center.
Wow.
And no intimidation there at all, because that's something that I've been doing
Right.
throughout my own recovery.
Right.
As far as being a volunteer in the admissions and evaluation, the journey that I've taken is pretty similar to a lot of the patients that come in. So there was no intimidation there. What I have found, though, has been probably more rewarding is the aspect of unpredictability. I never know who's going to walk through that front door. I never know what their mindset is going to be. We're the first stop they're making when
That's
they get to
right.
Silver Hill. And so it's more just being open to offer any support or reassurance as required.
Right, right. So you've covered the gamut, just the three of you in the different types of units that we have, all the way from admissions when somebody first walks in the door and is so vulnerable and so frightened and unsure, and to our inpatient units with teens all the way up through adults, and then our residential programs where people stay for a longer period of time with us. So that's great. I mean, that covers the gamut of the work that we do. Do any of you have a particular story that, working with a particular patient or a resident, that really struck you and said, wow, this is why I do what I do?
Well, I think just from my standpoint, again, just that aspect of unpredictability. Most patients who come in with another family member, whether it's a child that may come in with their parents, they come in with a spouse. And one day a couple came in from Washington, D.C. with their 22-year-old daughter, and she was coming in for the addiction and co-occurring disorder program. And normally the family members will stay right through about 3 hours is what the whole admissions and evaluation takes. They normally stay for that whole time frame. This couple had to get back to Washington, D.C., so they left after about 15 or 20 minutes, and they were
Wow.
given the contact information, and I thought, well, this 22-year-old young lady is probably not going to have any interest in talking to someone who's almost 40 years older than she is. And right after her parents left, I turned and looked at her, and she said, could you sit down and tell me, how did you stop drinking?
Wow.
Which was just, it's what makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah. Wow.
Very rewarding.
That's one of
Very
those
fulfilling.
moments that,
Yep.
yeah, changed a life.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. How about you, Ian?
The interesting part is every time I volunteer, it's usually a different group of kids,
Right.
which is part of the reward. I think, speaking from my heart, there wasn't a specific time or connection, but there has been days volunteering where you know, you see, and you feel that you really connect with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Since I have no formal training, it almost puts me at an advantage. I talk about my personal experience. I encourage the kids to get engaged. And I always leave time at the end for them to ask me appropriate questions, similar to the question that young lady asked you. How did you do it? Were you scared? Do you still struggle? And at the end of my volunteering, it's so much just a selfish statement. I get more out of it than they do. And what I have found is I learn by teaching. So when I explain what I have done is when it, for me at least, it really sinks in. And when the kids genuinely are engaged and they thank you, that's the reward for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
How about you, Lisa?
I think working with the teens, I remember after one session when one of the girls came up and just pulled me aside and asked me a question about how to kind of bring this into her everyday life. So I felt like something really clicked in there. It really resonated, and hopefully she was able to take something with her and apply it practically.
That's great. Wonderful. Anything else you'd like to share about volunteering? This is the season of giving, so anything that words of encouragement that you could give to anybody watching that might want to get involved, how to make that leap?
I think one of the most rewarding aspects for me is just the quality of staff, the quality of colleagues that I see at Silver Hill. One of the things that I really enjoy, and it may be reverse psychology, but most of the people I work with are a lot younger than I am. So working with people who are a lot younger makes me feel a little bit younger as well, and there's a lot of energy and enthusiasm. It was probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I was in admissions one day, and one of the staff members from Scavetta, the men's house, where I lead some recovery discussions, came over. He had an errand to run. I was talking with him, and he said he'd just gotten back from some vacation. I said, "Oh, where were you? Where'd you go?" He said, "I was down in Houston." Well, this was right at the time of Hurricane Harvey.
Right.
I said, "Went down for the hurricane?" He said, "Yeah, I wanted to just see if I could help out."
Wow.
And that, when you think of all the people at Silver Hill, the common goal that they have is trying to help someone else out. They're trying to improve the quality of life for other people. And that's a pretty remarkable undertaking. So it's for me, it's been really something to be a part of that.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
And for me, it's really just it's a win-win. You're putting good out in the world, in the universe, and obviously, karma comes back to you tenfold. You get by giving. You help those who you're volunteering for or with, and then you have the obvious, the self-satisfaction and joy of doing so.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I think you get so much more than you give, for sure.
Definitely.
And for me, just knowing that maybe I gave a teenager a new tool in their toolbox to deal with stress or anxiety is incredibly rewarding. I wish I had learned about mindfulness when I was younger. So I think it's fantastic that we're starting to bring it to younger people, and just incredibly rewarding.
Yeah, great. Well, as a staff member at Silver Hill, we rely so heavily on our volunteers, and I can't thank you enough for being part of our community and for touching so many lives each and every day. So thank you for joining me. We'll be back with another volunteer, actually 2 volunteers, in just a moment.
For 1 in 4 Americans, mental illness hits close to home. And since 1931, Silver Hill Hospital has also been close to home. For individuals and families facing the challenges of mental illness, Silver Hill offers a highly trained, compassionate staff that provides state-of-the-art care in a beautiful and private setting. If mental health issues hit close to home, remember, there's a world-class psychiatric hospital right in the neighborhood.
Welcome back to Straight Talk with Tracey. We are in the season of giving here in December, and we are talking with the wonderful volunteers that help us each and every day at Silver Hill Hospital to provide care for our patients. And I am joined now by 2 amazing volunteers, Vanessa Frosini and Monqui, who are part of the Good Dog Foundation and come and provide pet therapy for our patients on a weekly basis. Vanessa, I work with the adolescents primarily at Silver Hill, and I know that when the Good Dog Foundation pets come in, it is a highlight for them during the week. So thank you so much on their behalf and mine. So tell me how you got involved with volunteering, both with the Good Dog Foundation and with Silver Hill.
Well, I've always volunteered. I have a mom that was sick, so she kind of instilled in me that you should always give back. And so when I was getting a dog again, I knew that doing pet therapy was something that I wanted to get involved in. So that's how I decided to get involved with pet therapy. With Monqui, we had to go through a whole series of tests and things like that to make sure that she has the right temperament and does well in a hospital setting.
Right. Yeah, it's a pretty rigorous process that they go through, both the pet and the owner, to figure out if they are going to be qualified to be a therapy dog, which is different than a support dog, right? So
yeah,
people
there are three different things. There's emotional support animal, there's a therapy dog, and then there's a service animal.
Okay.
So therapy animals give therapy. They are trained to go into hospitals. We are insured by different organizations to make sure that, you know, the animal, the dog, they're actually horses and other therapy animals too, but that they are going to not bite, not bark, not do things that are inappropriate in the hospital setting.
How did you know Monqui was going to be a good fit for that? Obviously, temperamentally, beautifully tempered.
Temperamentally, and also I feel that she knows, she's able to feel people's energy. I feel like when we go into the setting, she knows exactly who needs her the most.
Wow.
She just will go into people's faces and lick their face.
Aww.
One of my favorite stories is when we come in, we sit in main house, we sit on the floor, and I can't tell you how many times I see people just throwing themselves on the floor, and I'm wondering how they're going to get out.
Right.
But they don't care. They see Monqui, and they just want to lie down and hug her, and they might have animals at home, and so it's really a nice thing to see for people just to relate to her and get all her love. And
it's amazing. And what's always striking to me on Pet Therapy Day is the range of pets that come in, mostly dogs, I think primarily dogs, but large dogs, small dogs, every
we were
breed.
there yesterday with a larger dog, one of Monqui's friends that she likes going and volunteering there with. But everybody, people will see a little dog and say, I don't like little dogs, and then they'll fall in love. They'll see Monqui do her tricks, or she'll go up and give them a kiss or a paw, and she'll change their mind.
That's right. Yeah, so we're going to show some of Monqui's tricks. Yes, we're talking about you, you fabulous thing, you. And some of the tricks that she does for the patients to entertain and to please and to bring some joy into their life. So
yeah, it's the entertaining, it's that part of it, but then it's also just the comforting. And she really is, I call her my little Buddha. Like, she's just this little ball of energy that's happy all the time and giving off light and love, and people smile when they see her. So that to me is, you know, all the difference when people are in a place where they're looking for change and looking to get out of the situation that they're currently in.
Right. So you said volunteerism has been a part of your life. Did you have any fears about going into a place like Silver Hill, a more
not at all
non-traditional hospital setting?
Not at all. When I lived in Manhattan, I volunteered at Payne Whitney also and did art therapy there. So psychiatric hospital setting is something that I'm familiar with. And really, I feel like there's such a stigma, and it's really time for us to start making changes and it being okay to say that you went to Silver Hill.
Right. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So how often do you go, and how long do you stay with the patients? What's a typical volunteering day for you guys?
So we go back and forth between Silver Hill and Norwalk Hospital every week. So we're there on Wednesdays every other week. And it depends. We either go to ACU, so that's about 45 minutes on that unit.
That's our acute care unit, so
yes,
the highest level of care in the hospital.
And then we also go to Main House. We go to the Martin Center for the outpatient. And we go to Main 3 to the adolescent unit, and K House, which is also now adolescent. I'm trying to think if, I think those are the main
Yeah, you cover the whole hospital. Wow. And does Monqui get tired at all, or does she have boundless energy?
She doesn't, but after about an hour, she's ready to go home and get her treat and go in the car.
Yeah, yeah.
But she's happy just to lie. You know, she'll go under the chair and just sort of take a time out and relax
if she needs to.
it.
Yeah, yeah. So any particular stories that you have, anybody that has really been touched by Monqui?
There's so many. Yeah. There's so many. Like I said, I can't tell you how many times I see people lie on the floor with her and not worry about how they're going to get up. They're just want to be in the moment and want to be petting her and enjoying her and getting in all the love she can give.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And Monqui, oh, you're just delicious. I could sit here and spend the rest of my day with you. So I can absolutely.
The other thing that we love doing is visiting with staff too.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Yeah.
I think we probably get a lot more smiles too when we see Petey and people that we know. Then Monqui knows, and she runs it, and she's so excited to see, people that she's been seeing for a long time, and it's also nice for you guys to.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. I can't say enough about how grateful we are as staff members for the volunteers that we have, and four-legged, two-legged, but it's a really, really a tremendous gift that you give each and every week. So thank you very much. So we will be back next month with more Straight Talk with Tracey. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you soon.